Hi everyone, this is Katie with KindredSoulArt, and for this month's tutorial release, I thought we'd do this fun 3D spider with Halloween just around the corner. And this spider comes from my days as a face painter, and it translates relatively well over to watercolor. So thought I'd show you some tricks that you can use to create this little spider and hopefully have a good time together. Okay, so let me tell you what you need. You need your watercolors. Honestly, it doesn't really matter how fancy they are, especially for how simple the figure is. So whatever watercolors you have, whatever paper you have, and then you'll need a powder pigment, and the one that I'm using is a Star Blend cake makeup, and this is a professional grade powder, but honestly, like, I've used eyeshadow before. You can even use watercolor with it. You just water down your black quite a bit to get that shadow color. And the powder will make it much easier for you, but you can still get that shadow with just plain watercolor. And then you'll need some white for the details. So you can use bleed-proof white, you can use white gouache, you can use a white gel pen, really whatever you have. And then, let's see, for your brushes, you'll want a brush that the bristles don't splay out towards the back, that they kind of come together at the tip. So let me see if I can find another example. Let me bring out this big one. So you can see how the bristles on this, they end pretty far back in order to get this really nice point. It'll be a little bit easier for you to have a brush where, this other bigger example, where they start ending a little bit closer together. That'll help with some of the legs, because when you press down to get some of the thickness on the legs, the brushes that end farther back can give you some little stray hairs. So just a little tip there, and honestly, if that's all you have, you can still make it work. This spider is really friendly for beginners. So, okay, let's start with, and the other brushes, for the powder, you'll want some dry brushes to use. This one I'm going to use for the body shadow, and then I'm going to use a smaller one for bringing out the shadows in the legs. Okay, so let's start with the body. You're going to make a big circle and then a smaller circle, kind of an oval-y circle. Let me grab my black here. Okay, then we're going to do a smaller circle. Okay, and I'm going to make the back a little bit bigger on his booty. Big booty spider. Okay. And then while this is still wet, I'm going to grab some red. This is a pyrrole red, I think is how you say it. It's just a very bright red, and I'm going to make a stripe. Okay. And we want this to dry just a little bit before we put the powder down, so that the powder doesn't pull the paint. So I'm going to mute this while I Okay, I still have a few little wet spots, but this side down here is dry, so I can go ahead and keep moving on. So when you think about your spider, you think about the light source. So my light source, I'm going to think about maybe coming down this way. So my shadow is going to end up down on this side. Okay, so with your dry brush, go ahead and put it into the powder and just powder it on. It's going to be a little bit darker towards the body and lighter as it goes out. Okay, I think that is good for my body shadow. So I'm gonna just dust my brush off. So next to me, I'm just doing this. I'm kind of a messy painter, so I don't mind getting a little bit of paint on me or pigment. Just be careful if you do it my way, because I'm very messy. I ended up getting it over everything, but I don't really mind. So you do you. This is your painting, and there's no judgment here. It's more about the process of painting and having fun as we go. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a little bit more of my black paint, and we're gonna start doing the legs. Okay, so this first leg on this side, I'm gonna bring it out pretty far this way, and I'm going to arch up and then lay my brush down. So let me pull over a scrap piece of paper here to show you what I'm doing. So one of the things that you can do with brush control is you can make it skinny, push down, and make it thick. Skinny, thick, skinny, thick. And so when I'm doing legs, I'm using this technique of making it skinny to thick and creating some variation within the legs. So I'm gonna go skinny, thick, and then I'll go skinny, thick, and then I'll pull down. So when pulling down, you go from thick to skinny. So pressing down, pulling up, pressing down, pulling up. And yours might not be as smooth. I was a face painter for a really long time, so I've had a lot of experience with brush control. So don't worry if it's not as smooth as you'd like. It's really just about having fun as we're doing this. So again, with the legs, you're gonna go skinny, thick, and then pulling down. Okay, so let me go back to our spider. So you can see I've done the skinny to thick. I'm gonna do another skinny to thick, and then I'm gonna pull down. Okay, the next leg, skinny to thick, and then pull down. Okay, so this next leg, I'm gonna come down this way. And because the leg is facing more towards us, I'm gonna change the length of this part to make it look like it is foreshortened or facing us a little bit more. Okay, and then this last leg, I'm gonna come up and down. Okay, gonna go up, over, pull, go up, pull, okay. And I think I'm gonna change the shape of my head just a little bit here. I want to pull it out a bit. Okay. I'm gonna add little fangs on there. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry for just a second. And I'm gonna come back to my powder with my smaller brush. Oh, I almost dipped this in my water out of habit. So you'll want a dry brush. Don't get it wet. I mean, it'll still work if you get it wet, but it's easier if it's dry. Okay, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull the shadows, because the light's coming this way, you're gonna pull the shadow down and towards the body. And it's gonna be a little bit thicker where the leg makes contact. Down towards the body. So even though this leg is straight here, because this leg is kind of facing us, I'm still gonna pull down and make it show that shape a little bit more. And then back towards the body. Okay, and just looking at my spider a little bit, looks like I need a little bit better connection there between the head and the body. Pull that out. Okay. So, almost done. Okay, so now we're just gonna add some highlights, and the highlights for the spider really bring out a lot of the shape and add a lot of interest. So you're gonna grab your gel pen or your bleed proof white or gouache, whatever white thing that you have, whatever white paint. And then you're gonna add the highlights. So where it's dry, you can go ahead and make some highlights. That looks my gel pen is almost out. So I'm actually going to switch to my bleed proof white since my gel pen is not cooperating at the moment. So since this leg is in front of the other leg, you don't want to put the highlight across each other. You want to make sure that the highlight goes behind the other leg. I'm going to highlight this one. adding highlights to the head. And to the body. And with the nice thing about bleed proof white is you can also use water to soften the edges of it. You can also do that with the gel pen too. It's a little bit easier with the bleed proof white. You can see I can soften this just a little bit, make it more reflective. And I think that is about it. I'm gonna add a little highlight. Okay, this is the stage I always get stuck on because I like adding all the little details. But that will do, I think. All right, there you have it, our little spider. So you can change the body shape, you can play with the shadows, but it's really easy to get kind of this general idea of how to make a 3D spider, and then you can go ahead and make it your own with different colors and adding a web behind it and all those other things. So I hope you like this video, and I think I'll be doing a few more Halloween centered watercolor paintings over the course of October. So I'm looking forward to seeing you again then. Have a great day. Bye.